Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when your reflection in the mirror doesn't ask you how much you've achieved, but how deeply you've lived. In a world that keeps trying to define success by speed, by trophies, by external validation, I want to remind you of something different, something powerful. The greatest victories in life are not the loudest, they are the quietest. They are the moments you choose to keep going when nobody is watching. You see, motivation is not a destination, it is a journey within. Willpower is not about control, it is about understanding. And the truth is, the journey to self-mastery does not begin when everything is perfect. It begins when life is messy, uncertain, and full of noise. This is for the brokenhearted who refuse to give up. This is for the dreamers who still choose hope in the middle of storms. This is for you. Because staying motivated and mastering your willpower isn't about waiting for a perfect day, it's about showing up for yourself, even when everything around you is falling apart. You must choose your why every single day. There is something profoundly sacred about waking up and choosing your why again. It is not a choice made once in a lifetime. It is a choice you whisper to yourself with trembling lips, tired eyes, and a heart full of scars. Your why is the heartbeat beneath your struggle, the soul behind every step you take. Life does not hand you purpose like a wrapped gift. It hands you moments raw, imperfect, heartbreaking moments. In those moments, you carve out your reason for staying, for hoping, for breathing again. Your why isn't about a destination. It's the path itself, the one you choose, even when the road is filled with silence and pain. You don't have to feel strong to hold on to your why. In fact, some of the most powerful decisions are made when you're on your knees, when the tears won't stop falling, and when the world has turned its back. That's when your why starts to speak louder than your fears. Your why will not always be beautiful. Sometimes it will look like survival. Sometimes it will be the voice of a child who believes in you. Other times, it will be a dream so distant it feels like a whisper, but it will be yours. And that's enough to ignite the fire inside you again. Motivation fades, excitement dies down, people forget. But your why is yours to protect, yours to nurture, yours to keep alive. When you wake up in the morning and life feels too heavy, ask yourself not how, but why. Why does this matter? Why must I keep going? Why do I deserve this chance? You do not need clarity to choose your why. You need honesty. You need to stop pretending you're okay when you're not. Your why grows in the soil of truth. When you stop lying to yourself about what you want, you start remembering what you were born to fight for. Your why is not a slogan. It is your soul's compass. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg for attention. It quietly reminds you that you are still here, that your story is not over, that your breath still matters. There will be days when you feel disconnected from it. Days when the fog is too thick and the pain is too loud. On those days, you don't need to search for answers. You need to return to presence. Breathe. Sit in the stillness. And in that silence, your why will return to you. Choosing your why daily is a sacred act of rebellion. Rebellion against the part of you that wants to give up. Rebellion against the voices that told you you couldn't. Rebellion against a world that celebrates perfection more than perseverance. Your why doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. It doesn't have to be grand or glamorous. It just has to mean something to you. It just has to be rooted in your truth. That truth will carry you further than any applause ever could. The most courageous thing you can do is live a life led by purpose, not pressure. A life where your actions are not dictated by fear, but by faith in your own reason to keep trying. Because no matter how many times you fall, your why is the hand that reaches out to lift you again. Some days your why will be a person, some days it will be a dream. Some days it will simply be the desire to feel peace. And all of that is valid. Don't wait for a perfect reason to keep going. Start with what is real right now. Start with what matters to your soul. The world may not see the battles you face just to wake up, but you know what it costs to get out of bed and try again. And if you can remember why you started, why you care, why it hurts so much, then you will remember why it's worth it. You are not weak for forgetting your why. You are human. But you are powerful when you choose to return to it. Again and again. Even with trembling hands. Even with a heart full of doubt. The return to your why is not a failure rate, is an act of faith. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to believe that the reason you're still here is enough to hope again. And every time you remember your why, you take one step closer to the life your soul has always longed for. Discipline is the love you give to your future self. Discipline is often misunderstood. People think it is harsh. They think it's a prison or a punishment. But real discipline is born from love so deep that you're willing to make sacrifices today for the version of you who will live tomorrow. That kind of love is rare. That kind of love is revolutionary. It is easy to say you care about your future, but real care is not shown in words, it's revealed in the choices you make when no one is watching. It's found in the moments when you want to give up, but you choose to keep going, not because it feels good, but because it's right. Discipline is choosing what you need over what you want. It's the strength to say no when your heart is tired and your mind craves comfort. It's waking up early, not to chase the world's definition of success, but to honor the commitment you made to your own growth. When you start to see discipline as self-respect, everything changes. You stop seeing it as a burden and start feeling it as a blessing. You realize that every time you say yes to consistency, you are saying yes to healing, to becoming someone your future self will thank. We often romanticize motivation, but motivation is not what keeps you going when your spirit is weary. Discipline does. Discipline is the quiet warrior that shows up on the darkest days. It doesn't seek attention. It doesn't need praise. It just does the work. There will be days when your bed feels more comforting than your dreams. And on those days, discipline asks you a question. Do you want peace today or purpose tomorrow? It teaches you that momentary discomfort can lead to lifelong fulfillment. People look at results and assume it was talent. They see strength and assume it was luck. What they don't see are the mornings full of resistance, the silent battles fought in solitude, the tired hands that kept writing, building, trying when nobody clapped. The truth is, you don't need to be extraordinary to be disciplined. You just need to be willing. Willing to rise when it's inconvenient. Willing to choose hard things when easy ones are available. Willing to walk slowly instead of sitting still. Discipline is how you build trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on a promise, no matter how small, you remind yourself that you are dependable. And there is no power greater than believing in your own consistency. Your future self is not a stranger, it is the person you are shaping today. And with every act of discipline, you send them a message. I care for you. I see you. I'm fighting for you. And one day they will look back and be grateful for the love you gave in silence. People often ask how to stay motivated, but they forget that discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. You don't need to be inspired every day. You need to stay loyal to your vision, especially when the world gives you every reason to stop. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you break every promise you made to yourself. But discipline is not about being perfect. It's about returning. Returning to the path. Returning to the practice. Returning to love. Discipline doesn't look dramatic. It's often quiet, unnoticed, even boring. But it's in those very moments when you show up, when you push through, when you do what you said you would, that transformation begins to take root deep inside your soul. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. One day of showing up becomes 1 week. 1 week becomes a month. And before you know it, you're standing in a life that was once just a prayer. A life created not by chance, but by choice. So when the world tells you to wait for motivation, remember this. Discipline is already within you. It is not a force to summon. It is a love to awaken. A quiet, steady love that walks beside you through every failure, every fear, every triumph, whispering, "You're still becoming." Every setback is a seed of strength. Life has a strange way of introducing us to our strength, not through comfort, but through pain. The most profound realizations don't arrive in moments of celebration, they bloom in moments of breaking. Because it is in those fragile, uncertain times that you meet the parts of yourself you never knew existed. Setbacks don't come to shame you. They don't arrive to punish you. They are not proof of failure. They are proof of growth. Every time something doesn't go as planned, the universe is redirecting your steps, molding you, preparing you for something deeper, something richer. It's easy to feel betrayed by life when everything falls apart. But what if falling apart is the beginning of falling into alignment? What if the very things you're grieving are the things making space for a stronger version of you to emerge? When you're in the middle of a setback, everything feels blurry. The future seems distant. The past feels heavy, and the present is filled with questions. But the soil of your soul is being turned, and in that soil, the seeds of resilience are being planted. There is a kind of strength that can only grow through storms. It doesn't come from books or speeches or theories. It comes from living, from stumbling, from facing the fire and choosing to rise anyway. That strength is raw. That strength is real. Don't rush your healing. Don't silence your pain. Let yourself feel the ache. Let yourself grieve the dream that shattered. Because in that grief, something extraordinary is happening. You are being rebuilt. And this time, your foundation will be made of courage. The world may not understand your journey. People might walk away when you need them most. That's okay. Sometimes the greatest setbacks are meant to clear the noise around you so you can hear your own voice more clearly. The voice that says, you're still worthy. Your pain is not a weakness. It is a passage, a sacred passage that's transforming your wounds into wisdom. With every tear, with every scar, you're gathering tools that will one day help someone else rise from their darkness too. It's not the fall that defines you, it's what you do after. Do you lay in the ashes and give up? Or do you stand, shaking and uncertain, and take one small step forward? Because even the smallest step is still a step, and one step becomes a journey. Sometimes setbacks force you to slow down, to pause, to reflect. In a world obsessed with speed, that pause is a gift. It allows you to ask deeper questions. What do I really want? Who am I becoming? What matters most to me now? You are not behind. You are not broken. You are being seasoned, tempered, fortified by the fires life has allowed you to walk through. You are being taught how to hold your head high. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've survived what should have destroyed you. The strength you're growing now is not loud. It's not flashy. It doesn't scream for attention. It moves silently like roots growing underground. But when the time comes, those roots will carry you. They will hold you firm when storms come again. Trust the timing of your setbacks. Trust that even when you cannot see it, life is working on your behalf. Every closed door, every no, every delay, it's protecting you from something not meant for you and preparing you for something better than you imagined. You don't need to pretend to be okay. You don't have to fake strength. True strength is not the absence of pain, it's the decision to keep going through it. To carry your broken pieces with grace and say, this is me, still rising, still hoping, still trying. One day you'll look back at this setback and realize it wasn't a detour, it was the beginning. The place where you stopped living for approval and started living in alignment. And in that realization, you'll find a strength so deep, it will light the way for others. Still walking through the dark, mastering willpower is learning to lead yourself first. The greatest form of leadership begins with yourself. It starts not with commanding others, but with commanding your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own habits. Willpower is not about control, it's about direction. It's about guiding your life instead of being dragged by it. There is a quiet power in self-leadership. It doesn't boast, it doesn't shout, but it shapes everything. When you master the art of leading yourself, you no longer rely on the world to dictate how you show up. You become your own compass, steady in the storm. People search for external sources to spark their willpower, books, speeches, people, but the real ignition is already within. It's found in the moment you decide to stop running from responsibility and instead embrace it as the gateway to your own evolution. Leading yourself means being accountable for your actions, even when it hurts. It means holding yourself to a higher standard, not because someone is watching, but because your purpose is watching. Your future is watching. Your soul is watching. Willpower grows when you honor your word to yourself. Every time you say, I'll do it, and you follow through, your inner leadership expands. You become someone you can trust. And self-trust is the soil where willpower takes root. It's easy to lead when the path is clear and the skies are blue. But what about the days when everything feels heavy? When doubts scream louder than dreams? Those are the days that reveal the depth of your willpower. Those are the days that shape your leadership. Self-leadership doesn't mean perfection, it means presence. Showing up for yourself even when you're tired, even when you fail, even when you fall short. It means staying in the fight not to prove something to others, but to prove something to the little voice inside that still believes. Willpower is not about forcing yourself to hustle endlessly. It's about making intentional choices. It's knowing when to rest and when to rise, when to say no to distractions and yes to discipline, when to stay in silence and when to roar. The most dangerous lie is that you need motivation to act. You don't. You need alignment. You need clarity. You need to lead yourself with grace and grit, knowing that discipline is the structure and willpower is the fuel. Leadership starts in the smallest decisions. In waking up when you want to sleep in choosing water over comfort food, in shutting off the noise so you can listen to your own voice. Those small moments, they are the bricks of greatness. Sometimes, leading yourself means breaking your own patterns, choosing to heal instead of staying hurt, choosing to forgive so you can be free, choosing to love yourself enough to say, I deserve more than survival, I deserve to thrive. Willpower grows in silence. It grows when you get up again, when no one is cheering. It grows when you decide to keep your promises when no one would know if you didn't. It grows when you choose the hard right over the easy wrong. There will be temptations, there will be detours. But when you lead yourself, you walk with integrity. You understand that every time you act with discipline, you are not just shaping your day, you are shaping your character, your destiny. Mastering willpower is mastering emotional navigation. It's acknowledging fear but not letting it steer. It's feeling overwhelmed but still moving forward. It's listening to the noise but tuning into your purpose and leading yourself through it all. In the end, the most powerful leader is not the one who controls other sides, the one who rises every day to lead themselves with love, with courage, and with the unwavering belief that even if no one sees their struggle, their purpose is still worth fighting for. In the end, your power was never lost, it was always waiting for you. You are not weak because you feel tired. You are not broken because you've stumbled. You are not unworthy because you've had to begin again. Every soul that has ever risen to greatness has first walked through the valley of uncertainty, loneliness, and quiet battles. Staying motivated is not about being relentlessly energetic, it's about being relentlessly devoted. Devoted to something greater than mood, greater than convenience. It's about being devoted to your why when your how seems impossible. Willpower does not roar, it whispers. It whispers in the silence after a setback. It whispers when everyone else tells you to quit. It whispers when the only thing you have left is faith in a version of you that hasn't yet arrived. And that whisper is not weak, that whisper is sacred. Because it means your soul is still awake, still reaching, still believing. When you understand that motivation is a rhythm and not a constant high, you stop chasing sparks and begin building firewood. You stop waiting for the world to cheer you on, and you begin to clap for yourself in the dark. You remember that even when your passion fades, your discipline can carry you. And even when your discipline breaks, your purpose can hold you. That is how you become unstoppable. Discipline is no longer something you use to control yourself. It becomes the love letter you write to your future self. A quiet message in every early morning, every boundary honored, Every temptation turned down, not because you had to, but because you chose to, because you remembered who you were becoming, and because you refused to abandon that version of yourself. Setbacks are not the end of the road, they are the bending of the path. And each time you face one, you are given a choice to see it as a sign to stop or a sign to sharpen. Let your losses be your lectures. Let your pain be your teacher. Let your stumbles plant seeds that will one day bloom into strength you didn't know was possible. There is no greater leadership than leading yourself. Not with force, not with shame, but with unwavering grace. With the kind of love that says, I may not have all the answers, but I have the will to keep going. That is leadership, that is mastery, that is power. So if you feel weary today, let this truth hold you. You don't need perfect conditions to stay motivated. You need deep clarity. You need courage to take the next step, even when you're scared. And you need the sacred decision to show up not for the world, but for the quiet revolution happening inside you. Because the path to motivation is not outside of you. The source of willpower is not in someone else's words. It has always been within you, sleeping, waiting, longing to be awakened, not when life gets easier, but now, exactly where you are. With all that you are not here to live a half-lived life. You are not here to wait for signs. You are the sign, you are the message. You are the miracle that someone else will look to one day and say, because they didn't give up, I didn't either. Lead yourself, love yourself, discipline yourself, and no matter how many times you fall, rise again. Rise not because you are fearless, but because you have chosen to believe that your story is still unfolding and it's far from over.